Hello, and welcome to today's Shorts Roundtable. I'm Paul Sloop, the Short Films Programming Manager for the Cleveland International Film Festival, and I'll be hosting today's talk. Before we get started, we want to take a moment here to say a special thanks to PNC for sponsoring our filmmaker conversation content throughout this year's festival. On today's roundtable, we'll be joined by filmmakers representing some of the short films included in Comedy Shorts Program 2. With that in mind, please allow me to welcome our guests to today's conversation. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey, Paul.
So to get us started, what I will ask each of you to do is introduce yourself, your film, what your role was on the film, and where you're calling in from today. And let's start with you, Bonnie.
What's up, Cleveland? I'm Bonnie DiCepolo, and my film is Graceland. I'm the director and co-writer with Trevor O. Munson, and I'm in Los Angeles.
Hello, Cleveland. Je t'aime. My name is Alexis Chartrand. I'm from Montreal. I was the screenwriter and director of the film The Danger in Front.
Hi, I am Tom Stern. My film, I directed, wrote, produced, and edited Silvertop, and I'm calling from Los Angeles.
Hello, Cleveland. My name is Nora Sager. I'm a filmmaker in Sweden. I wrote, directed, edited, did costumes, scenography, lots of things on the short film 1-1.
Hey, Cleveland. My name is Joe Bohr. I co-wrote, directed, produced The Feathers, and I am calling from London.
Great. Well, again, thank you all for taking the time to join us today. The first thing I'd like to ask all of you to share, if you can, is what was the inspiration for the film, or what led to making this particular film? And again, we'll start with you, Bonnie.
So Graceland is the story of a Southern mom whose life is turned upside down by her 10-year-old daughter's belief that she's the reincarnation of Elvis Presley, which is a pretty wild story. I grew up in South Carolina, and the two actors that star in it with me, Anna Camp and Monique Coleman, and I were all friends who grew up in South Carolina. So it very much came from our experiences growing up and living in the South. But the actual idea, the little Elvis who walked into my life and brain, I was in the middle of editing a horror film that I shot for Robert Rodriguez's Rebel Without a Crew, the series. And it was like February and very dark. And I was in the editing room alone, and I was editing this scene where someone gets their head bashed in with a hammer. And I was just watching this moment over and over and over again. And I thought to myself, the next movie I make, I want to bring joy and love and laughter into the world. And then I got beamed this idea of a little Elvis walking into my life. And I was like, okay, as soon as this head bashing is over, I'm making the Elvis movie.
Well, you did bring joy and a lot of laughter. It's a very, very wonderful film. Alexis.
Yes. So my my inspiration for the film is about a barber that looks outside his window and thinks danger comes from the man who goes in the restaurant in front. So he schemed to try to kill him. And the inspiration from that is from when I was in high school. I used to do 45 minutes bus carry. How do you say? I don't know. But you get so bored after 5 years of high school, and you're like, you don't know what to do. And I remember just sometimes trying to shoot people in the head with my finger because I thought it was so funny. But I don't know. I did that for fun. And when I read The Danger in Front is an adaptation from a comic novel. And when I saw his scheme, I thought, hey, wait a minute, I can relate. I know that. So so that's the inspiration. It seems a little dark, but I'm not, I'm a sane person. So I'm okay. if you ask the question. But I'm,
And your film is terribly creative. I mean, we were all like, "Wow, did you see that?" Our entire programming team was like, "Did you see that danger in front? We've got to play that."
it's
Thank you.
It's a little violent, but yeah, but I do love flowers and prairies. And,
Thank you, Lexi. Tom.
Okay, so my film was inspired by a house. It's called Silvertop, and it was designed by this famous architect, John Lautner, who was a protege of Frank Lloyd Wright. It was designed and built back in the early 60s. I got married at this house. So there's a personal connection. And my wife, Barbara Bester, did the remodel of this house. So I fell in love with this house. I think this is my favorite house on planet Earth. It's an amazing house. It's organic architecture. And I learned so much making this film about the house, about architecture. That was kind of amazing. And one interesting factoid I'll just end with is that Silvertop completes this hill in Silvertop, Los Angeles, a neighborhood in Los Angeles. And it sort of embodies this dictum that Frank Lloyd Wright said 100 years ago, which is that a house should not be on a hill, it should be of a hill. His was a revolutionary idea that rejected the old idea that houses should be big, impressive things on top of a hill. They should be organically integrated into the hill. So that's what Silvertop does.
Yeah, and the narrator makes it quite a fun ride. The
And I should
narrator makes it a
mention
fun ride.
the comedy element is it's narrated and hosted, this film, by a very snooty French architecture critic who is a dog. He's a French bulldog. So yeah, that's the comedic hook.
Always brings a smile to my face when I can
Right.
remember it. Notice.
Yes, I did the short film 1-1, and it's about a guy who is about to have a sex date, and his friends come in the middle of the night very inconveniently, and they just don't want to leave. So they convince him that they're gonna prank the sex date, and they pretend that they have sex when he arrives. So when they open the door, it's a full-on sex act. And basically, this is inspired by my own life. This is something I've done with my friends. Pretty much everything I do is, just inspired from true events that has happened in my life. And I mean, when we were shooting it, it was also funny that somewhere along the way, all the actors realized that all of them were playing different parts of me. So they're like, we're all playing you, aren't we? All four actors. I'm like, pretty much, you guys. So yeah.
And the punchline is perfect. The title of your film and the punchline come together wonderfully. Wonderfully. Thank you. Joe.
So my film is called The Feathers. It was based on a stand-up routine. So I'm a stand-up as well as a filmmaker. I'm a stand-up, and I used to work a lot with a comedian called Mike Gunn, who plays the lead in this as well. And it was based on his stand-up routine, and it doesn't sound like a funny routine, but it was a really lovely piece that he did, which was basically about him seeing feathers everywhere. He was feeling depressed, and then he started seeing feathers everywhere, and his friend convinced him that he had a guardian angel, and wherever he went he saw these feathers, and then the punchline, I mean, I don't know whether to give away the ending, but they came from somewhere else, but so I actually thought, I just thought it was potentially a beautiful film. It had potential, visual potential, and I just said to him, I said, this will make a lovely film. I really want to shoot it, and that's what we did. We just found a few hours, and we got a friend who was an actor, quite a famous actor in the UK, and we shot it. Yeah.
It's great. Your film was seen by one of our team members on the programming team very early, and I remember one of the things we have with each other is when you see something that really pops for you, email the rest of the team, and we all got an email. You need to watch The Feathers.
Oh, amazing.
Great.
Oh, thank you.
What I'd follow up with is to ask each of you to share if there's one story, either from the making of the film or just one thing you'd want our audience to know about your film. Please take the time to share that story now. We'll start with Bonnie again.
Hello. So the one thing that I think is so funny about Graceland and the story of a 10-year-old Elvis is that though we have a lot of music in the movie, we have zero Elvis music in the movie. We originally wrote it with Jailhouse Rock, and we went into production. I talked to other filmmakers who had used Elvis music in their films. And right before production, the Elvis estate wrote to me and said that they did not approve the content of my film and that they were not going to allow me to use any Elvis music. So I had to get very creative and recreate all of the music from scratch using Mechanical Rights and Amazing Grace and hire an Elvis impersonator to sing the songs. And I mean, it's like the hardest, most difficult, laborious thing we did in the film that no one will ever know because it sounds like Elvis.
It was done effectively, that's for sure. Alexi.
I could share. There were many things weird on this shooting, but I could share the fact that it's a 5-day studio shooting, and me and the director of photography, which is my associate in life, we slept at the studio, which is weird because, well, they say it's haunted, so we used to work more just to make sure we got the shot because we thought it was, we'd be scared. So, so we decided just to work more on the other day. So to how do you say, make sure we do things right and not be scared. So yes, we slept at the studio.
You literally lived your film, right?
Exactly. Yes, I did shower if you ask, but yes, we slept there.
Gotcha.
So that's it.
Thank you,
Yes.
Tom.
So I used a lot of drone photography to capture the architecture, and I was the drone operator. So then you add, so drones, they can be tricky, and then you add dogs, trickier. So the opening shot, where you first see this magnificent house on the hill, I wanted to start with a giant wide shot and have the drone fly in all the way, and then have the dog reveal himself by jumping up onto a table in front of the house. So we had to have the dog trainer under there, ready to cue the dog. I'm looking at the drone. I'm flying it from like a mile away, and I come in. And so each shot is like, I'm trying to steer it in. I'm trying to find that exact spot to hit it. And then we have to get the dog to jump up and hit his mark. So it's not easy. It didn't work. I couldn't do it. I had to use an edit. I couldn't get my shot. It just, I think we did 5 or 6 takes. Each one takes several, like 5 minutes. So there you go. You can't get, young filmmakers, you can't always get what you want, but if you try real hard, you will get what you need to get into the Cleveland Film Festival anyway.
Good story. Norris.
Yeah, so to be honest, my brain is completely fried right now. I'm in the middle of pre-production for my next short film, Habib and the Thief, and we're shooting in 2 weeks. I can't really even remember this shoot that we did with 1-1. It's completely blank in my head. But it was a magical shoot. We had fun. We lived it. It became reality. It used to be real. It was just everything. And I can't even remember one specific thing right now. My brain is not here with us.
Well, we'll say good. Well, we will wish you good luck on this new shoot.
Thank you so much. We just had rehearsals today all day, and we're shooting in 2 weeks. So it's wow! Everything is just up in the air right now. Yeah.
Break a leg. Joe.
I don't know if there's one story as such. A few fun facts. It was raining. It rained, and it doesn't. Hopefully, it doesn't look like it was raining. We had to purchase a lot of feathers, obviously, and I'm still finding feathers everywhere. Over a year on, and the guy who's in it, Mike, whose stand-up routine it's based on, kept saying to me, I'm not an actor, like just constantly, I'm not an actor. And now now the film's done all right, he's sending me other projects going, I'm an actor, I'm ready to do more.
That's good. Great. Well, thank you all so much for sharing your stories and your insights on your films. We sincerely appreciate it. On behalf of the entire team at CIFF, allow us all to thank you for taking the time to join us for today's roundtable. We also want to thank you, our audience, for joining us for today's Shorts Roundtable. Without your ongoing support, we wouldn't be here to bring film home. We hope you'll consider supporting our challenge match again this year, presented by Cuyahoga Arts and Culture, to support the future of our film festival. Our goal is to reach $145,000 this year, and we appreciate in advance any contribution you're able to make. To make a donation or to purchase tickets or to check out our full schedule of filmmaker conversations, please visit our website at clevelandfilm.org. With that, please stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll look forward to seeing you again here very soon. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Love you, Cleveland.
Hey, Cleveland.
Je
Cleveland
t'aime.
rocks.
Je t'aime.